Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics. It is Thursday, September 7th, and we got football today. Thursday night football, Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions. It's on and popping. Greg, what's good?
What's good, man? Hype. Got the shirt on. We ready. We lit. Fantasy football is a science, man. We here for it. It's coming down to the wire, and Travis Kelce game time decision looking like no Chris Jones. So yeah, I'm ready. See if Detroit can maybe pull this upset.
Yeah, definitely got to see if Detroit can pull the upset here. On the Travis Kelce front, the Chiefs have elevated tight end Matt Bushman from the practice squad. So you already know what that means. Kelce most likely going to be out tonight. If not, will be in a very, very limited role. So obviously we talked about that game yesterday, broke it down when we were breaking down, Thursday night football and the games that are ahead for all the 1 p.m. games. So if you haven't, go back and listen to that or go watch it if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. To the podcast listeners, I apologize for getting the episode out so late last night. Completely overlooked that yesterday. It was juggling a bunch of different things, but we're gonna work on making sure that gets out early so you guys have it there available to you pretty much as soon as the episode is finished. But if you don't want to miss anything, just make sure you just catch us live, right? 3 p.m. weekly, or not weekly, but 3 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Obviously started at 4:30 today because we had a scheduling conflict, and we have a scheduling conflict on Monday as well. So we'll be on here at noon, but most of the other times we will be on here 3 p.m. unless something else comes up. But without further ado, Greg, we got to break down these 4 p.m. games. We got to break down some Sunday night football. We got to break down some Monday night football. Let's jump right into it, starting with the 0-0. Los Angeles Rams traveling to Seattle to take on the 0-0 Seattle Seahawks, where this game has a 47.5-point total, and the Seahawks are 5.5-point home favorites. On the Rams side, Cooper Kupp not expected to play. He's already listed as out in this game. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the rookie who was dealing with a wrist injury, Pete Carroll said he's going to play, so expect that to happen. But Greg, in terms of this game here, what side are you taking?
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the Seahawks to cover, the Seahawks to win. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do there.
Taking the under. You said the under, right?
Yeah.
Taking the under as well. Seahawks to cover, Seahawks to win. I honestly, as you look at this Rams side, right, I think it's pretty, it's pretty tough when no Cooper Kupp. You got to look at, what are we looking at in terms of the pass game options? Obviously, Akers is in there as an RB2, I'm assuming, for you, Greg.
Yeah, Akers in there, RB2. He's got a solid matchup. Seattle wouldn't say they were strong against the run, so no Cooper Kupp. I think they'll try to lean on the run as much as they can in this game. Yeah.
Yeah, and then pass game wise, who do you see kind of picking up the slack here for Kupp? Is it one or two guys? Do you think it's a platoon? What are you looking at?
The first name that kept coming up, Van Jefferson. He's the most experienced. Kind of after Cooper Kupp on his team, he's had success on this team, especially with Stafford, throwing him touchdowns. So, I'm definitely willing to add him on my team, especially if you're a Cooper Kupp manager or just if you're in need of a receiver. To start him, though, is tough. The quarterback situation is better, especially from last year. So, Matthew Stafford should be healthy, ready to go. So I think Van Jefferson is going to get looks. He's going to get targets, especially if Seattle's down. So I think he's in flex consideration, actually, low in flex.
Yeah, Van Jefferson is definitely interesting. He did get have a few productive games down the stretch last year. with Cup out of the lineup. So you could definitely go in that direction. I'll tell you what direction I'm going in. It's Tyler Higbee, man. I mean, he's got the experience with Stafford. Stafford's already talking. I mean, his wife is talking about how he can't relate to some of these young guys. So why not go to one of the older guys in the locker room there with Tyler Higbee? But in all seriousness, I mean, Higbee does these, has these random moments where he kind of blows up and, had that 3 touchdown 100-yard game against Denver last year, just randomly on a random Saturday. So Seattle's a good matchup here as well. So definitely
great matchup. Yeah.
I think Higbee's a nice option. Are you interested in Stafford at all as a QB2 in super flex leagues, or are you looking elsewhere if you have that luxury?
Yeah, I think I'm looking elsewhere. Wouldn't probably go for him. Have to wait and see, especially while his main guy Cooper Kupp. If Cooper Kupp is in, I'm all on board for Matthew Stafford any game as a QB2 territory.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think we're going to have Cooper Kupp for some time, so probably not going to be in on Stafford for some time. But let's move over to the Seattle side. I mean, this Rams defense has taken a hit over the years. They had to tear it down a lot. So all they really got going for them is Aaron Donald on that side of the ball. Are you looking at this as an opportunity to attack with the Seattle offense?
Yeah, Geno Smith, must start for sure. I think he's QB1. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Metcalf, I think, is a borderline wide receiver 1 for this matchup. Tyler Lockett, like him as a strong wide receiver 2 option. Yeah. Those guys I think are gonna come through. I think JSN is hurt, right? Is he gonna play?
Dealing with a wrist, but Pete Carroll says he's gonna play. But again, he's the first game. We don't really know what his role is going to be. We know the talent, we know the pedigree, but how exactly does he fit into this offense, which we've predominantly known under Pete Carroll to be a ball control run type of offense, except for the 1 year they let Geno cook. So curious to see how he fits in here. But I am in agreement with you. I think Geno definitely. I have him low end QB1 territory. I think DK and Lockett I have them both as wide receiver 2s, with each one of them having the ability to finish as a wide receiver 1. Kenneth Walker, an RB for sure, right? And then so I think he's definitely somebody who's in your lineup. But where are you at with Charbonnet? The rookie in his first game. Are you rolling him out there as a potential flex play?
I'm gonna hold on stash. I wouldn't be surprised though if he scored a touchdown just because off of gameplay and how the Seahawks will be up in this game. And they do like to establish the run, but I think I'm in the wait and see mode for him.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm gonna be honest. In some leagues, I really don't have a choice, right? Like where I drafted Charbonnet, I kind of the way things kind of fell. I need him to be in my lineup. If I could afford not to play him, I will. But I have a team where I drafted Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, okay, well, Charbonnet, you're it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, maybe more hopeful for me, but I definitely, like you said, touchdown could be there. If he's utilized at all, you would hope that, he's capable of pass catcher as well. So maybe they use him that way. But, definitely if I had my option, it would be wait and see, but I'm not afraid to throw him out there as an RB3 flex option.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued for him and Jaylen Warren. Kind of like, are they gonna? They have this top RB that they might want to rely on as a workhorse, but are they gonna use kind of go to that 2 kind of running back, get some rest for those guys, Kenneth Walker and Najee Harris?
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. Anything else on that game that you want to cover, Greg, before we move on?
No, I'm ready.
All right, let's move on to this next matchup. The 0-0 Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl runner-up Philadelphia Eagles, traveling to New England to take on the New England Patriots on Tom Brady's induction into the Patriots Ring of Honor.
Wow.
So that crowd is going to be juiced up. This game has a 45.5 point total, where the Philadelphia Eagles are 4.5 point favorites on the road. I'm like sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I'm going to take the over. I really, really, really want to take Philadelphia to cover the spread. But I'm like, New England, Bill Belichick got like
Get a whole offseason to prep.
a whole offseason to prep for the game, man. And he was sitting there. I saw the quote called. He said Jalen Hurts might arguably be the best player in the NFL. I'm like,
oh, you talking well about him?
about him. I'm like, oh man. So I'm gonna change my pick here live. I'm gonna go New England to cover the spread, but I'm still gonna take Philly to get that dub. There is possible rain in this game, so Bill Belichick got the rain machine going early. It's September. He's got that rain machine going early. So yeah, give me New England to cover and Philly to win the game.
I'm gonna take the under. I was with you. I think I was gonna say the Pats could cover, but I know you always say a lot, and just in general, like Bill Belichick, even though he's had a whole season to prep, he's not very good against rushing quarterbacks. That's his one Achilles heel. So I'm gonna still take the Eagles to cover, and the Eagles to win the game.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's one I definitely thought about when I initially made my pick. Bill against those mobile quarterbacks. I mean, you go back to Lamar Jackson and even Alex Smith gave him trouble with his somewhat of his mobility back in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. In terms of the fantasy stuff, Greg, how are you handling this running back situation in New England? Because they obviously signed Zeke Elliott in the offseason. People were concerned that he could vulture some touchdowns away from Ramondre Stevenson. Are you concerned at all about that? And how do you basically, I guess, line up these running backs ahead of Sunday's matchup?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, coming to the draft, I saw Ramondre Stevenson as a borderline RB1. I'm going to treat him as so in this matchup. There's no been like official reports out of camp that Zeke is going to take. It's just been a lot of like reports from different news sites and everything. I mean, it makes sense. Zeke did get a good number of touchdowns last year. He's built for those situations. Damian Harris was a part of this team, and he was used as well, even with Ramondre Stevenson, taking over. So I think Zeke is going to have a role. So I would treat him as an RB3 in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have Ramondre as an RB2, with Zeke as a touchdown-dependent RB3 for me. What about the pass-catching options? Is there anybody that you have any interest in? Juju Smith-Schuster, any of the tight ends between Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki? What are you looking at there?
I'm more confident in maybe Mike Gesicki as far as any pass catcher on this team. I don't want to not like thrilled to try to start a Juju Smith-Schuster or Devontae Parker or anything like that. Nah, I'm not here for that. Raining game instead of my rain. First game, Patriots just haven't had a good fantasy wide receiver in a long time. Great one, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Juju's like a low end wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I mean,
unless you're playing like not a full point PPR, like a 2-point PPR league, you play Juju and so like that.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the only place like a 7 for 40 really helps you out, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting him in our League of Extraordinary People because he is. I don't even know if I feel like saying this on the show, but he's my wide receiver 1.
I mean, the 7 receptions is realistic. That's 7 for 40. That's a good. I mean, it's a good output out there in the day.
Yeah, it's 11 PPR points.
Yeah, 11 PPR points. Yeah, let your running backs carry you.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about my running backs on this show, but they're gonna carry me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of the tight ends, though, I do like Gesicki and this is purely like just what his profile, what he's done throughout his career, and how I see him fitting into the offense. I think he's a sneaky tight end 1 option because when you look at them, you look at the receiving options, he's probably the best one when you look across the board. So he's somebody I think has some intrigue there. On the Philly side, it's really easy, right? I mean,
everybody
just start them all. I think the only question you really have is which running back are you playing?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the biggest question. The pass game options, we get it, right? Jalen Hurts, Devontae, AJ Brown, get Dallas Goedert, easy.
Yep.
Which running back are you playing, Greg?
I think to start, DeAndre Swift would have the slight edge for me, just for PPR leagues, especially. He's the better, I think, pass catching option for Hurts. But I think they're in that same tier still. So I think they're both like RB3s for me, honestly. So I'm not confident in one a lot more so than the other, but I'm gonna lean DeAndre Swift.
That's where I'm at too, Rick. DeAndre Swift is a pick for me. I've got him as an RB3, and I'm just going to take my shot on who I believe to be the most talented player in the backfield.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next matchup here. We've got the 0-0 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Denver to take on a 0-0 Denver Broncos, where this game has a 44-point total, and the Denver Broncos are 4-point favorites at home. I will take I'll ask Greg here. Greg, which side are you going with first?
I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the Raiders to cover, but I'm gonna take Denver to win. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Denver to cover. I'm going to take Denver to win the game here. Denver obviously I was personally very high on them last year. Did not really come to fruition. They have obviously everyone knows what happened and how it ended, but I do like them to bounce back this year in some capacity. Russell Wilson,
He's got a great matchup. But this is a statement we've said a lot last year, and it only came to fruition that one time when you had him at start of the week. So
wasn't it against the Raiders?
I think so. I think it was against the Raiders. Yeah, I think he has two best games against the Raiders. So I'm on board. I think he's worth the start. I think he's worth the start in this one. Not having a lot of his receivers is not helpful, but Cortland Sutton, I think, is going to step up. Marvin Mims, I think, is going to step up. So I have Cortland Sutton as a wide receiver 2, low on wide receiver 2, Marvin Mims as a flex, and Greg Dulcich out there. So
I got Russ as a high-end QB2, Cortland Sutton as wide receiver 2, Marvin Mims like wide receiver 3 or 4, low-end flex, like you said, in that range. Javonte, interestingly enough, coming off the injury, probably going to have him as an RB2 this week. And P. Ryan, is he somebody that you're willing to stick in your flex, given Ron Payton's propensity to play multiple running backs?
Yeah. I think both of them are going to have standalone value this year. And P. Ryan is very talented. You know what he did when Joe Mixon wasn't playing last year. So I think both could be used.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Now on the Raiders side, is there anybody beyond Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams that you have any interest in playing?
No. Actually, no. Yeah.
The only thing you could maybe talk me into, and he's somebody I've been coming around to a lot lately, and I forget that he's even there sometimes, is Jacoby Myers. Slot option, could be helpful for Jimmy G there. We know what that role that position typically plays in Josh McDaniels' offense. No Darren Waller. So it's wide receiver 3 flex, desperate lead, if you're desperate for sure.
Yeah, I see Jacoby kind of like as a Tyler Boyd, just not in a as good of an offense. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely agree with that assessment there. Moving on to the next matchup here, we've got the 0-0 Chicago or Green Bay Packers traveling to Chicago to take on the 0-0 Chicago Bears. This game has a 43.5 point total, where the Chicago Bears are 1.5 point home favorites. I am going to take the over.
This is a pick 'em.
It is a pick 'em. Oh, it's a pick 'em now? They moved the line?
It's -1 now. It's -1 Bears. Yeah.
It should be a pick 'em. And I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to take the Packers to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Take the Packers to win. You know why, Greg? Because when Aaron Rodgers left, he transferred ownership of the
That's
Bears.
what I'm saying. They still own him? Like
he transferred to Jordan Love. So now Jordan Love, you own the Bears. All right. But Greg, what say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over here. I'm gonna take the Packers to cover and the Packers to win as well. Still think the Bears they're almost there. They're gonna get a dub against the Packers this year though. I think it's just not this game.
Yeah, I agree. Not this game, but you took the over in this game.
Yeah, I took the over.
Okay, good, because I like this game, man. I really do. I think it's like of all the games with low totals on the lower side. I really think this one has a chance to hit. I think that starts with the quarterbacks and on both sides. I think Justin Fields, he's got obviously quarterback one upside every week because of his legs, but I like Jordan Love a lot. I mean, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs both could potentially miss this game with hamstring injury.
Dobbs practiced today and Watson sat out. I believe so.
Yeah. Well, Dobbs is injury from a couple weeks ago, where Christian Watson's really just happened this week or very recently. So it's a tough blow. I know Greg was excited to take some victory laps because this would have been a big game for Christian Watson.
Yeah.
It was going to be a big game for Christian Watson. But Jordan Love rather probably loses some upside there. But do you see Dobbs? Are you willing to roll him out there as a strong wide receiver too, given the opportunities here and the potential, obviously the injury that he's dealing with?
Yeah, with Watson, if Watson's not able to go, I think that really bumps up Romeo Doubs as a low-end wide receiver too. And as far as the tight end, Luke Musgrave, I think steps up in this situation as well. I think he becomes a startable tight end option. And that would help out Jaden Reed. That would be the name that comes up as I think without Christian Watson, I think he's playable as well.
That's exactly where I'm going. I mean, Jaden Reed's a guy that he's been half on my team and half like on the bench. Like, because if I ever get a free roster spot, I've been adding Jaden Reed because second round pick. I like the player. I like the situation. He's locked in as a starting slot receiver there for the Green Bay Packers. And if you got no Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs is limited in any way. I think Jaden Reed immediately slots in to some available targets here. So I like him with some sneaky wide receiver 3 upside for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
And then on the Bears side, obviously we talked about Fields. He's a QB1. Khalil Herbert, DJ Moore. How do you see those two guys kind of fitting in at their respective positions?
I like DJ Moore, low-end wide receiver 2. Like Khalil Herbert as a top 30 play. It's still going to be his rushing is capped because of Justin Fields, obviously. But I think he's got some big play activity, big play potential. And I think that's about it. Cole Kmet for a tight end, I think he's playable. But as far as pass catchers, it's just Kmet and DJ Moore.
Yeah, I agree. Darnell Mooney, I mean, he's obviously been talented and whatnot. He's probably has an opportunity to make a big play if this game does truly go over and we do get a little back and forth nature to it. Somebody I could be interested in, but DJ Moore, not afraid of Jair Alexander and that matchup at all in any way?
No, I'm not. I mean, they'll use DJ Moore in any type of route, short, intermediate, long routes. I think he'll move around, so he'll get his.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. DJ Moore, I mean, even when I was just kind of thinking about this matchup, DJ Moore has come through in some really bad matchups before. I kind of remember, I forget what the matchup was last year, but I just kind of remember him going off in a matchup where it's like you had no business doing that.
Yeah, true.
And what he's able to do with his yards after catch as well, I think adds to his upside. All right, moving on to this next matchup here. Another exciting one. We've got
it's gonna be real good.
Miami Dolphins traveling to LA to take on the Los Angeles Chargers, where this game has a 50.5 point total. The Chargers are 2.5 point favorites at home. Greg, what side are you on?
Yeah, Hammer, give me the over here for sure. Give me the Chargers to cover, Chargers to win. Yeah. Start everybody.
Ooh, Chargers to cover, Chargers to win. I took the over. I took the Dolphins to cover, the
Ooh.
Dolphins to win. So we both like the over. A lot of points in this game. Could go literally either way, according to me and Greg. So, Greg, in terms of the fantasy matchup, is this like a, hey, if I have anybody in this game, just kind of start them? How does this work for you?
Yeah, well, I would think so. I mean, the only one that's probably on that line is maybe Raheem Mostert, but I think you still play him as a RB3. But everyone else, like Tua, Herbert, Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, all the guys that Gerald Everett, I think is a playable tight end in this one. I know it's a name we brought up a lot for streaming last year, so he he's got a great matchup, and he's had probably had the best matchup schedule last year for a tight end in history. So hopefully he can come to fruition this year.
My issue with Gerald Everett is that he it was like, oh, this matchup is really
Yeah,
good.
every week, every week.
And you had no Keenan Allen, like Mike
Yeah.
Williams banged up for a little bit. You're like, he's all they got, and he's good, And yeah, it was tough for sure. But I'm in agreement with you. I mean, I think Herbert on the Charger side, Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Mike Williams, they're all ones at their respective positions. I think Gerald Everett, like you said, has some upside. Yeah, and the Mostert, I think, obviously, has some RB3 potential here. So I would go all in on this game if you could. This is definitely one I think from a DFS perspective you want to build your lineups around, but it should be a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on to some Sunday night football.
Woo! Finally, man. Finally. we get to the New York teams, man. Finally.
Yes, sir. Both New York teams playing in Jersey this weekend, but neither here nor there. The 0-0 Dallas Cowboys traveling into MetLife Stadium to take on the 0-0 New York Giants. This game has a 46.5 point total. Dallas Cowboys are 3.5 point road favorites here. I'm going to take the over here. Going to take the New York Giants to cover. Going to take the New York Giants to win this game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir. We finally get this matchup at home, too. I'm tired of being in Jerry's world. Get this opening matchup at home. Let's do it. It's going to be a blowout, so we're lit.
Greg, I'm assuming you also have the Giants to cover and win. So where are you at on the total?
I have the over as well. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, I mean, this game is intriguing. You have two defenses that were pretty good last year, but we are both taking the over here, and so I'm assuming you like the potential fantasy output in this one as well. I mean, Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, are they all ones for you at their respective positions?
Yeah, they're all ones for me. I like, as far as the ancillary receiver, I'm with Brandon Cooks here to start as a flex. I'm waiting to see him, Michael Gallup, all banged up last year. He's finally healthy, but just need to see it. So I think he's more of either a free agent or a stash play. Yeah.
Any interest in Jake Ferguson? I know that the Giants struggled against the tight end a little bit last year, and Jake Ferguson, we know going back to Jason Witten and Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott's looking for that tight end. So are you gonna put faith in Jake Ferguson and start him this week in the first matchup of the year?
I think he's got some streaming ability here. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's tough because the late night game, so you'll have to wait, and all these other tight ends you played or didn't play is gonna play. But I think he's more in that high end tight end 2 range, so tight end 13, 14 for me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I feel too. And it's crazy that the time of day which Jake Ferguson plays makes a difference whether I want to play him or not. Because I kind of go back and forth. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, I should play Jake Ferguson. But then it's like, oh, but I don't want to wait till Sunday night to see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. On your tight end, yeah.
That you have you seen Jake Ferguson play football before? Because I haven't.
No. But then when Witten retired and we just thought it was between Jarwin and Schultz, right away, one of them, the healthy tight end, had impact, right away. There was no warm-up period. Dak was looking for them.
Most definitely. What about on the Giants side, man? I mean, for me, I think it's really just a big three, right? Between Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller. I have them all down as ones at their respective positions, but do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I'm with you in the same way. I mean, this is probably going to be the most intriguing wide receiver room to see who steps up.
Intriguing or annoying? Because those are different.
Yeah, I guess annoying. So I'm a high guy. I have him as a stash on a couple of teams. Darren Waller, of course, number one pass catcher. Darren Jones is going to look for him first. Probably Saquon is going to be a good pass catcher as well for them. Slayton's been his guy over the last couple of years, for big plays, touchdowns. So if you were to throw a dart on probably playing a receiver, I think it'd be Slayton with the more upside.
Yeah, Hyatt's definitely got that upside. Slayton obviously has had his ups and downs, and Hodgins was the guy who really, who he down the stretch last year, he was the guy that we really looked to for fantasy production. Wan'Dale Robinson.
I'll put Shep probably before Wan'Dale. Yeah.
Wan'Dale is interesting because obviously we know the draft pedigree, was his high second round pick last year, was productive until he tore his ACL. I think it was something stupid where he had like 9 catches like in the second or third quarter and then he ends up leaving the game with a torn ACL, and you're just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But he's back.
Yeah.
He's currently running full speed, but it might take him a little while to get going, especially with a guy who's his game is built on his ability to cut and short area quickness and not really his long speed. So yeah, maybe Hyatt is the guy because he has an element that only really Darius Slayton adds, but Jalen Hyatt adds it like exponentially better because of that speed. That is true game changing, like Deshaun Jackson level speed where I'm going to run past a defender and I'm going to look like I'm jogging, but I'm actually hitting like 23 miles per hour on the GPS.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to test it in that preseason game, but Sauce was there. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Speaking of Sauce, let's move on to this next matchup here.
Got the 2 primetime games, like New York's got them, man. We up, man.
Let the world get the word out that we back up. But we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to MetLife, but by this time it'll be JetLife Stadium. 47-point total. Bills are 2.5-point road favorites. There is a possibility. This looks like an old note. So no rain. We should be good. We're in the clear because I'm going, so I don't want to be rained on. I prefer that. But Greg, where are you at on this side here?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Jets to cover, and I'm gonna take the Jets to win at home and take both of their teams to get it done on 9/11. Like, it's gotta happen, man. This is we gotta make it happen. Aaron Rodgers' first game, Garrett Wilson, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the under. I'm also going to take the Jets to cover. I'm also going to take the Jets to win. People forget, right? Like, to me, this game should not be 2.5 points. The Jets should be favored. And I say that not because I'm a Jets fan. I say that because if you think to this game last year, right? The Jets were coming off an embarrassing loss to the New England Patriots, not the second one, the first one. And they go at home, they take on the Buffalo Bills, and Zach Wilson at quarterback. They win that game 22-17 or something like that. And now Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. So to me, this should be a win.
Math.
It should be a win for the New York Jets. At least that's the hope there. But Greg, where are you at on the fantasy side? Because we both took the under. You got 2 defenses that are known for being good. Buffalo, they obviously they took a step back last year, but their secondary is much more intact than it was when these 2 faced off last year. Trey White back in the fold here. How are you feeling about these fantasy options?
So, I mean, Buffalo, you're still starting Josh Allen. I mean, he's still, I think, a QB1, mid-tier QB1 for me. I think Rodgers is playable as well as a borderline QB1. As far as the run game for Buffalo, it's tough to me to I think kind of like James Cook is probably the only playable one I would go with, but he's kind of in that like Raheem Mostert range for me. So RB3 option. Uh, Diggs got to go with him, and that'll be it for the Bills. The Jets. Dalvin Cook says he's ready to go. Seems to me like he's gonna be good to go here. Brees Hall. So I think I'm more confident in starting Dalvin Cook in this matchup here, just because he's probably the more healthy guy right now. I know they want to warm Brees up throughout the year. So I see Dalvin Cook as a low on RB2. Brees is a RB3 option. And yeah, Garrett Wilson, even though he's seeing Trey White, man, it don't matter, man. He's matchup proof at this point to me. He's a wide receiver one.
Yeah, Josh Allen statistically, right? Fantasy numbers aside, statistically as a passer, played his 2 worst games of the year against the New York Jets, but was able to come through, especially in that first game, because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And obviously, that is always in play when Josh Allen is playing quarterback. So I think you roll him out there as a QB1. Stephon Diggs, low-end wide receiver one. Obviously, we know what he's capable of, but the matchup here is not great when you have those 2 corners on the outside for the Jets. Gabe Davis, probably a wide receiver 3. I think the James Cook, I agree with your assessment, probably an RB3, but I think the interesting place to go here would probably be the tight ends, right? Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. That's how you've attacked the Jets defense. I mean, it feels like forever, but that's how you've attacked them last year, especially when they were so strong on the outside. You go after the safeties, you go after the linebackers. Dalton Kincaid, we've been told to be like this slot receiver, this big slot that they use. So I'm curious to see how that happens. Maybe Dalton Kincaid I will play in DFS, but I'm intrigued by playing one of these guys in a redraft league, specifically maybe Dawson Knox, because he'll probably get some of that inline traditional tight end work. On the New York Jets side, do agree with your assessment. I think Rodgers high end QB2, not going to be in QB1 territory for me this week, given the matchup against Buffalo. But I do think, like you said, Dalvin Cook probably has a slight edge over Brees Hall, given that they're trying not to rush Brees back, I'm assuming. But I see both guys as RB2s. Just kind of depends how that touchdown falls. Garrett Wilson, I agree with you. I have him probably ranked as a wide receiver 2 because of the matchup, but he's going to see enough volume because that's really what makes you matchup proof, right? That volume there. I think he should see enough volume here from Aaron Rodgers to get to wide receiver 1 territory, potentially even get in the end zone here. So I definitely like that a lot.
Yeah, I think Rodgers will come. It'll be better than people think because no Von Miller. I think he's a difference maker on that Buffalo Bills defense, that line. So I think that will show here.
Yeah, and we do have a question from Dem7 that asked Mostert over James Cook this week. So did you say you play Mostert? Or you put them in
I just brought up the comparison. Yeah, put it in the same tier. That's tough. Yeah, it's tough. I think I go Mostert though.
I think I go Mostert too. Give me the matchup with that we're expecting to see the most points, the more touchdowns, more scoring opportunities. Give me Mostert here in this one.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. It's time to get after it, man. It's some starts of the week.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to the money, Greg. So, Greg, I'm gonna ask you, man, who is your quarterback start of the week?
Going with Trevor Lawrence here, going against the Indianapolis Colts. Just coming off his best season of his young career. I think he's just gonna keep building on that momentum. Indy was a pretty porous defense last year as far as their pass defense. I don't think they made much improvements this year coming into this year. So Trevor Lawrence, this explosive offense, I think it shows out. It comes through. Trevor Lawrence is going to be a QB1. You draft him as a QB1. I think he gets a top 5 performance here this week.
I like that one a lot, man. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was phenomenal last year. Had that 27-point comeback against the Los Angeles Chargers in the playoffs, and so, I like this one a lot, man. Speaking of that 27-point comeback, I'm gonna go with the quarterback who was on the other side of that comeback as my start of the week. That's Justin Herbert. going up against the Miami Dolphins. Like I said, I want to be in on this game any way I can. And Herbert, top 4 option for me this week at the position. Great matchup against a Miami secondary that's kind of been banged up since last year when you really think about it. Kellen Moore's offense, they're going to be explosive. You have the explosive Miami offense on the other side in a game with a 50.5 point total that we both think goes over. I think you start Herbert in this one for sure.
Love to hear any Herbert love here. My quarterback and just my guy. So you got to go Herbert here, high scoring game. Hopefully this is going to be definitely one of the best games of the weekend.
Definitely one of the best games of the weekend. I hope when you're watching Red Zone this weekend, this is one of those games that they never leave, man. They just keep on this game the whole time. All right, Greg, running back start of the week, brother. What do you got?
Got to go J.K. Dobbins here, going against Houston. I know you mentioned a lot. Houston's pass defense is really good, but they got to take a hit somewhere, and that's in that rush defense. Baltimore, big favorite in this game. Just a formula for success for the run game for J.K. Dobbins. He's healthy when he plays, and he's healthy. He's a great start. He's going to be a bona fide RB1 in this matchup. This is a formula for success. J.K. Dobbins is going to dog.
Absolutely love this one, man. Been a big fan of J.K. Dobbins since coming out of Ohio State. Injuries have kind of derailed him a little bit, but I think he gets back on track starting this week against the Houston Texans. So I got to love this call. I alluded to it yesterday. My start of the week is going to be the rookie Bijan Robinson. Got to call my shot here in his first regular season NFL game. I think we will all see why Atlanta spent the 8th overall pick on the talented running back from the University of Texas. Atlanta's home. They're favored against a Carolina run defense that was middle of the pack against running backs last year. They are getting Brian Burns back, coincidentally enough. Was in a contract holdout, but returned to practice today. So doesn't scare me much. I think Bijan Robinson, is gonna. My man's got his own mustard, man. Just so like pass the Bijan.
Hey man, they took him top 10. I mean, they did take another guy on their team like very high, and they don't use him. But I think Bijan, they're gonna come through with him, man.
Hey, did you know? Speaking of, because I know you're talking about Kyle Pitts. Did you know Kyle Pitts led the NFL in uncatchable targets?
That was part of the argument. No, quarterback play for sure. I mean, if you get better quarterback play, then maybe it's looking up. Maybe it's looking up.
Greg, what about your wide receiver start of the week? Looks like you're going with a stack here.
Yes, sir. I love the stack here. Calvin Ridley going against the Colts. Trevor Lawrence plays into him. I think he's going to immediately see that he's going to be his number one option. He's going to get the most targets, most receptions on this team. Just the talent is just going to scream through. He's been off a year. He's healthy. He's ready to go. I think, coming off a career year that he had before the year he was banned. So he's going to build off of that. And yeah, he's going to be a top wide receiver one in this week.
Yeah, I like that, man. And he's rocking. He's the agent 0 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, players wearing 0 are going to get some extra love from me here because it's kind of cool. Just never really see it in football.
It is.
It's a basketball thing. I know it happens in basketball pretty often, but you don't really see it in football. So I like that. My wide receiver start of the week. Gonna go with Devontae Smith, man. Going up against the New England Patriots. I like them to pick up where he left off last year against the New England team that's going to be busy trying to figure out how do they stop Jalen Hurts and his legs. How do they stop that beast that's AJ Brown, who is also going to have a great game. So Devontae Smith, I definitely like him to show out as one of those ancillary pieces for the Philadelphia Eagles here.
Yeah, I love this. Love this here a lot.
So it looks like you're going with an ancillary piece from the same game, Greg. So tell us who your tight end start of the week is.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert is like a tight end start of the year. I feel like he's kind of like the most value tight end for his position. Like he just does what he has to do, reception-wise, gets yards, gets touchdowns, and he's comes at a great price in drafts all the time. So I like him here going against New England. New England, one of their major weaknesses was always attacking the tight end position. So I think Dallas Goedert comes through.
Yeah, I like this. And to your point, Goddard has been great. I mean, I had him last year, and he was fantastic because you draft him as like the tight end 6 or 7, and he was finishing tight end 4 or 5 like almost every week, and it was great. So, definitely love that there. My tight end start of the week, getting a little frisky week 1, man, but why not? Tyler Higbee, no Cooper Kupp, going up against Seattle. You really couldn't draw it up any better for Higbee to have a big game in week 1 when he's on everybody's bench. So don't let him be on your bench, especially if you are the Travis Kelce manager. Higbee's out there. He's available. So I'll be willing to take the shot, go pick him up, throw him in that starting lineup.
Yeah, I love this here. I mean, Seattle becoming like the new Arizona against tight end. So hopefully that continues.
That was a great year.
Oh, great year. That's
great year.
Great year, man. Oh, amazing.
Oh, man. All right. Now it's time for everybody's favorite game.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's favorite game. Get Money. And if you've never listened to the show, you've never watched, Get Money is simply head-to-head DFS contest on FanDuel between Greg and myself. It's an odd number week, so we will give Greg the first pick on an odd number.
It makes sense for us to remember it because Odd John, it kind of rhymes slightly, but I like it. I like
you want me to
No. I want the number 1 pick this week.
Okay,
I want the number 1 pick every week.
Every week, but that wouldn't be fair.
No, I wouldn't. But we are in a 17-game season now, so that gives me.
We were in a 17-game season last year.
Oh yeah, last year. Yeah, I'm saying just in general. That gives me the last week.
That gives you the first weekend of last week. Kind of feels rough. I feel like I'm losing, but it is what it is, man. So the reason why you're probably wondering, it's FanDuel. You guys can pick the same players. Well, that's not how we play Get Money. Well, the way we play Get Money, once a player is selected, you have to remove them from the player pool. And if you don't know, Greg and I, we've already set our lineups. So if Greg takes one of my players, I'm going to have to pivot and vice versa, which is why this game gets so frustrating sometimes. And I will tilt on a live stream because Greg might snipe me probably with his first pick. So, Greg, where are you going?
See, I mean, I like to incorporate my starts of the week in the lineup for sure, but I think I want to get a stud here, and I'm gonna take Joe Mixon first, 7,500, going against Cleveland as my RB1.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'm gonna go with my running back start of the week. I'm gonna go with Bijan Robinson.
Like it there. I'm gonna take as my second RB J.K. Dobbins. My running back start of the week, 6,500 going against Houston.
That is definitely fair. For my quarterback, I'm going to go with my quarterback start of the week. That is Justin Herbert, 8,100.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley as my wide receiver 1, 7,000 going against Indy. These prices are so nice week 1, too.
Yeah, they truncate the prices a little bit.
Yeah,
So you could jam a bunch of studs into your lineup, so everybody thinks it's easy, and then they get everybody to come play FanDuel. That's what they do. It's strategy. But I'm going with a stack here with my quarterback. I'm going to get Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 1, 8,000.
I'm going to take in my flex, give me Chris Olave, 7,300. Going against the Titans.
In your flex?
Yeah.
Does you fill all your wide receiver slots?
I didn't, but that's how he is in my lineup. So I'm going to just keep it like that. Yeah.
So
I guess I could put him on wide receiver spot and then.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I just wanted to make sure.
It's just how I filled it out. That's how.
No, I know how you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I just wanted to make sure for my purposes. Because if you did fill your wide receivers, then I wouldn't have to go receiver. But now that I know you still have it, I'm gonna go
receivers.
Give me Jalen Waddle, 7,900 in the same game with Herbert and Keenan.
As my second receiver, give me Mike Evans going against Minnesota, 6,500. Great matchup.
Okay. At tight end, give me Luke Musgrave, 4,500. Our tight end stream of the week, super cheap. Taking a shot.
My third wide receiver, give me Michael Pittman Jr., 6,600 going against Jacksonville.
Like it. At running back, give me Travis Etienne for my second running back going up against the Indianapolis Colts, 7,700.
Tight end, Dallas Goedert, my tight end start of the week, 6,400.
For my defense, I'm going to go the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3,800.
Like that. My quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback start of the week, 8,000. Get that stack.
For my third wide receiver spot, I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson, second-year wide receiver, 6,100.
Like that a lot. And for my defense, I'm going to go Seattle here, 4,200, going against the Rams.
And last but not least, in my flex, give me Khalil Herbert, 6,100, going up against the Green Bay Packers.
Word. There we go. No snipes yet. No snipes yet. There you go.
I like
Week one. That's why.
All right. We don't know what we don't know yet.
Yeah.
All right. So, Greg, why don't you read off your lineup for the people one time?
Got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, 8,000. J.K. Dobbins, my first RB, 6,500. Joe Mixon at the RB2 spot, 7,500. Calvin Ridley, 7,000. Michael Pittman Jr. at 6,600. Third wide receiver, Mike Evans at 6,500. Dallas Goedert, 6,400 at the tight end position. And my flex, Chris Olave, 7,300. And my defense, the Seattle Seahawks, 4,200.
Nice. For me, I'm going with Justin Herbert at quarterback, 8,100. Bijan Robinson, running back, 7,800. Travis Etienne, my second running back, 7,700. Keenan Allen, my wide receiver, 8,000. Jalen Waddle is my second wide receiver for 7,900. Jahan Dotson as my third wide receiver for 6,100. Luke Musgrave at tight end for 4,500. Khalil Herbert in my flex spot for 6,100. And then Pittsburgh Steelers defense, 3,800. Gotta love
it.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see what happens. Greg, any advice?
Just to know there's no Monday night. There's no primetime games to get money. So if anyone
we play the games. We play the main.
Wilson.
We play strictly the main slate. Which that means I won't be able to pick a lot of Jets this year.
I know they got a lot of games this year.
But it'll be fine. Like I said, we play the main. Oh no, but we also get. I forget that we technically have 18 slates because we do the Thanksgiving slate.
Oh, you're right.
Technically, we have 18 matchups.
Okay, there you go. That was good. That was probably to give you fairness. That's fair. All right, let's do it. All right.
Greg, anything you want to say to the people? Any advice you want to give out as we wrap this thing up here before we close this out? About the fantasy matchups and all that other good stuff.
I think your number one advice point, man. Put those Thursday night football people in the RB position. Don't have them in your flex, man. I don't care if you got 5 flexes. Put them in that RB spot. Put them in that wide receiver spot. Lock them in early so you have flexibility. Big
one. We're going to maintain that flexibility. Also, a big one for me that I adopted like 3 years ago. Resist the tilt. Don't check your fantasy scores after each play. I promise you, Yahoo will update the one catch for 3 yards. I promise you, it'll be there.
Turn your sleeper alerts off too. Sleeper is so fast with alerts.
Oh yeah, if you're not watching live cable, turn the sleeper alerts off because you will get spoiled big time. But yeah, man, spend time with family. Just watch the games. Trust that you put yourself in the best position to win your matchup, probably by listening to us, watching us, however you're doing that. But again, just resist the tilt, y'all. It's fine. And if you lose, your season's not over. If you win, you didn't win the championship. We got to come right back on here on Monday, recap everything that happened, go through the waivers, and get back on the grind for week 2.
Yeah, week 1's the easiest panic week, so let's not go crazy.
And just pay attention to the players that get rage dropped, right? Like somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, I drafted Isaiah Pacheco in like round 5, and he only got 3 points tonight. I'm dropping." So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It is.
just again, resist the tilt. But anyways, y'all, have a good one. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you tap in on Monday. We're breaking down the waivers, breaking down everything that happened, all the news. I'll be at the Jets game, so obviously, like I said, 12 p.m. Eastern will be here. But yeah, man. Other than that, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank you for listening, and we will see y'all next week. We out.
Yeah.